Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome OAAA Board Member and President and Chief Operating Officer of Clear Channel Outdoor North America, Suzanne Grimes.
Good morning, everybody. I think we can all agree that these American masterpieces capture our nation's history and our artistry and our creativity, and that's why I'm so excited to be standing up here before you representing a lot of great work done to build a program called Art Everywhere, which is the biggest public service campaign ever seen by the industry. Art Everywhere, as some of you know, celebrates 100 of the most important pieces of American art, and it also showcases the extraordinary capabilities and the immense value of out-of-home as a medium. Art Everywhere fundamentally is a cross-media campaign that uses out-of-home but also leverages digital media and social media and earned media to curate a spectacular display of American greatness. And it is a natural extension of industry work in public service that all of you have been a part of over the years. This one, beautifying the American landscape and really demonstrating our commitment to local communities. So what I want to talk to you about is three things. First, how Art Everywhere will work. Second, why it's so important for all of us to rally around it. And lastly, what you can do to get involved. So first, how it works. Art Everywhere is a partnership between the out-of-home industry and 5 of the most esteemed institutions in the country who are giving us access to the very best of their American collections. That would be the Dallas Museum of Art, the Art Institute of Chicago, the National Gallery of Art, the Whitney, and the Los Angeles County Museum of Art, or LACMA. And the spokesperson for Art Everywhere is Maxwell Anderson. He's the director of the Dallas Museum of Art and one of the leading curators of art in our country. He collaborated with lots of his peers to select what they feel are the top 100 pieces. Today, we're unveiling these selections online as we ask people to vote for their favorites among them. And the 50 most popular will be celebrated on our out-of-home displays throughout the country. So let the voting begin. Just last night, we launched an online gallery on arteverywhereus.org, and we're working with Finn Partners, a preeminent PR firm in this space, to really make some noise. I don't know who had a chance to look at the newspapers this morning, but if you did, what you saw was Art Everywhere featured in the New York Times, the LA Times, the Washington Post, the Dallas Morning News, and the Chicago Tribune. In fact, I just got an email as I was walking up. I think we've had 126 pieces run this morning. Is that right, Stephen? Which is pretty incredible. So I will admit the New York piece was a little snarky, but the rest of them were really good, and so I think that's a pretty good beginning. There's also a massive social component to the program. So each of our museum partners has a large social media footprint of their own, and they're leveraging that to get the word out. They're also reaching out to their celebrity supporters, and one case in point would be Katy Perry, and it turns out she's a big art collector, and of course, not surprisingly, has a huge social media following, so LACMA is asking her to tweet about Art Everywhere and really get people excited for us. Now, the voting will continue through the month of April, and then we'll determine which 50 pieces made the cut. And lots of you are helping along the way. OMG has agreed to do the campaign planning, and Extra Credit Projects will lay out the art to fit all of our out-of-home formats, and then production and shipping will follow in June and July. And then on August 4th, we'll reveal these masterpieces in out-of-home executions across the country, trumpeted by a big media event held in Times Square. And after that, then the campaign will run for the full month of August. Now, as you may know, Art Everywhere is inspired by a similar program which ran in the UK last summer. And if you take a look here, you'll see some of the great publicity they received when they did their program.
We're in the heart of central London, and this bus stop would normally be advertising things like burger chains and banks, but not today. The art of advertising has taken a backseat to works of art from people like Hockney, Turner, and Damien Hirst, the best and brightest of the British art world. The title pretty much says it all, Art Everywhere. For the next 2 weeks, British masterpieces will be plastered across billboards, subway stations, bus stops, and the sides of buses. The 57 works of art were voted for by the British public, selected from a shortlist drawn up with the help of London's Tate Galleries. The top choice was The Lady of Shalott by John William Waterhouse, inspired by the poem by Alfred Tennyson. We asked the Tate's Mark Sands whether critics might see taking art out of the galleries and onto the street as cheapening it in a way.
Yes, there will be some naysayers who think that, and there'll be some people who think this is an inappropriate way to view art. I could not disagree with them more.
So there you go, coming to a billboard or bus stop near you. Now, it didn't come cheap. Advertising companies say they lost something like $5 million in revenue, but printing out the posters and putting them up everywhere, that all came from donations. Art everywhere, paid for by art lovers everywhere. For CBS This Morning, I'm Charlie D'Agata in London.
What a great idea, art everywhere.
Art everywhere. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah. Not only do you enjoy it wherever you are, but it also may cause some people to go to the museums and see the rest of the work and that kind of thing, and see the real thing.
Of which there are very many great museums here in New York, in Washington, and across
If
this
it comes to
country.
New York, art everywhere.
Yeah, so that's pretty nice coverage, isn't it? And even in the US when the program took place in the UK. So the good news for us is that we can learn from their experiences and make the US Art Everywhere campaign even bigger and even better. So one key takeaway, for example, is that they had a heck of a time getting rights to the artwork, and that posed a real problem for them as they were working through the campaign. And so we had the opportunity to assign that responsibility to our museum partners. And so I'm happy to announce that they have secured the rights to all of the American pieces of art already in just 5 weeks' time. So that was really strong work. Now let's talk a little bit about why it's so important to all of us to get behind this. I think it's pretty clear from the agenda at the conference, from Jack's remarks this morning, and lots of the other presenters that we're at an incredible inflection point as an industry. And we know that advertisers are looking for new and powerful ways to engage consumers in a real-time conversation. And I think it's critical that we communicate the message that out-of-home can, in fact, activate digital and social dialogue. I think we can do this beautifully with Art Everywhere as a program. And so, in fact, yesterday at the OAAA board meeting, some of you saw some research that we reviewed together, and it called out this as one of the top priorities for us as an industry, the need to demonstrate our unique ability to amplify digital and particularly mobile media. So this will enable us to have much more meaningful conversations with our ad partners. So in the voting phase of Art Everywhere, we're encouraging the public to share their pics and share their excitement on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, Pinterest, and other social platforms, which is a big part of our plan. And when the outdoor gallery launches in August, we'll invite everyone to upload pictures of the art they love and share those moments using hashtag ArtEverywhereUS. And then we've also added an augmented reality component to the program, working with our partner Blipper. So for those of you who haven't already, download their free app so you can be a part of the experience. What this means is that when someone views a piece of art using their phone or mobile device, we're going to give them more about the artist, about the piece, about where it's currently displayed, and so forth. So let's take a quick look at how this will actually work. So you see the poster, you notice the Blipper icon, you pull out your phone and blip the art using the app, and then the app takes you to a mobile-optimized Art Everywhere page. This one features the piece by Michael Craig Martin, which is called Inhale Yellow. And then, of course, you have a great experience. And off it goes. Now, if we advance to the next slide, I want you to compare this to the incredibly important public service work we've done as an industry, partnering with law enforcement and child protection and emergency messaging partners. These really substantive issues have helped us build pretty powerful and beneficial relationships with federal and state and local authorities. So now think about adding Art Everywhere to that mix. Here we have public service that contributes in the aesthetic realm, which is a whole different place for us in some ways, strengthening our story about beautifying America and helping us to make new friends with art fans and benefactors across the country. That could be pretty helpful to us. So how can you play your part to make Art Everywhere a success? Here's the pitch. First of all, we need outdoor space for the campaign, and so far the response has been tremendous. Some of you know I was not the biggest proponent of this campaign originally, and was very powerfully and persuasively convinced that we could do it much better than what happened in the UK, and I got behind it in a big way. So Clear Channel's on board, but so are all these other firms that you see up on the screen. So if you haven't gotten involved yet, now's the time to step up with your space commitment for August, if you can do so. And then for our printing and technology and other partners, we need your help too. So the folks you see on the screen have already committed in meaningful ways, and we could really use your support and commitment as well. In sum, Art Everywhere is a 2014 campaign, but it will deliver enduring value to the out-of-home industry. The OAAA is planning to capture the campaign data and create a sales video for us that tells our story as a compelling case study, and I think we can all see a lot of value in that as well. So before I wrap up, let me give you a small sampling of what you're going to see. Artists like Georgia O'Keeffe, who was born near Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, and came to the attention of the New York art community in 1916. Andy Warhol, from the Oakland neighborhood of Pittsburgh, who became a leading figure, of course, in the pop art movement. Jackson Pollock, born in 1912 from Cody, Wyoming, who earned $24.86 a week under President Roosevelt through the Public Works of Art project. Mark Rothko, who emigrated from what is now Latvia and became an abstract expressionist. One of Nancy Fletcher's favorite artists, I might add. And let's not forget Rembrandt Peale, who at the age of 17 painted this portrait of General George Washington. So check out the website. It's live now. You can see all of these masterpieces and a whole lot more there, and I hope you enjoy. And in closing, let me leave the final word to our spokesperson, Max Anderson, in the form of a video you're about to see, which is live on YouTube, and which will also appear in movie theaters across America, thanks to National Cinemedia and their support. So thank you, and we look forward to working together with you on Art Everywhere.
Art Everywhere is a nationwide celebration of America's great artworks. It's going to be the biggest outdoor art exhibition ever conceived, with some of the nation's finest museums displaying masterpieces of American art in every part of the country. This is the art that tells the story of America, expresses our creativity, and reflects who we are. And you can help decide which works will be seen. We're inviting you to vote for your favorite artworks online. We hope that Art Everywhere will inspire all of us to learn more about America's artistic treasures, past and present, and discover the many more great works in our nation's museums. Great American Museums have come together to nominate 100 masterworks of American art. Which of them do you want to see displayed everywhere? After the votes are tallied, the top selections will be featured in a coast-to-coast outdoor Art Everywhere gallery this August. Help shape the biggest outdoor art exhibition in history and show the whole world what American art looks like. Vote by going to arteverywhereus.org.